sound like I'm answering a phone. Whoa, that stuff you just sprayed is strong.
It's a bit of pheromones, Louisa.
We're back. Get us in the mood.
No, these are pheromones to, I don't know what they're to do. They're to supposedly make you silly and have fun. They're what they call social pheromones.
Perfect. I feel like I'm always fun, always social.
Me.
Don't need that.
I invented fun, Louisa, just so you know.
Very cool, you did. You've got some outrageous fun stories.
I do. I've just gotten started.
Do you know what I'm most looking forward to about today's episode?
What?
You telling everyone about how you used to deal with cocaine.
I might have dabbled. I know. I'm like, now, once I put that out there, I have a bit of, I don't know, remorse? Where I'm just like, oh, fuck, am I really going to talk about that? But yes,
I'm
why not?
so excited. I can't wait.
Yes, I know. I look very sweet, but I am naughty.
Bad dog from America.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about dating.
Yeah.
And also we're going to talk about how I used to give men all an attachment type.
Yes, fill out a sheet to go on a date.
Attachment type in relationships test. And so we'll talk a little bit about that and why you may be a fucking psycho in your relationships and how not to be. And yeah, be fun.
Do you ever get people sliding into your DMs on Instagram?
A little bit.
Yeah?
But not, Facebook way worse than Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's an older person thing.
Yeah, that's it.
My generation is definitely sliding into the DMs.
Oh.
For those of you who don't know, DM is direct message on Instagram.
Yeah. Got to educate the oldies.
Yeah.
Like
so
me.
basically that's the new thing. Instagram is the new Tinder. So everyone's saying that dating apps are dead. They're a waste of time.
Yeah, I've heard this. This is interesting. Tell me more.
So I'm single. So I'm like, do I get on Tinder or do I get on Bumble? But I just don't think it's me. Like, I think they're quite like, I'm here, I'm single, and I'm ready to date. Like, if I went on it, it would be a lol. You know, like it would be for a joke. I wouldn't actually seriously be trying to find someone on a dating app. But they're saying that you don't need Tinder, Bumble, Grindr. That's the gay one. And they're saying you don't need them anymore. Real life connections and Instagram is where it's at. So there's some, and I do agree with that because you can. The thing with Instagram is you can bait people. I feel like I'm giving tips. I'm not. I don't slide into people's DMs. Yeah. But like often, this is what will happen is if you make a story or something relevant or funny, people can reply to that and be like, ha ha, like so funny, or oh my god, amazing scenic shot, or something lame like that. So that's a good way to start a convo and slide in there.
Yeah,
you can also follow people, so that's like a Facebook ad, but it's more casual, I guess, because Instagram, I don't know, it's more casual than adding someone on Facebook, so you can follow each other back and forth, or you can leave them hanging and not follow them, which is very rude, but often happens. And then it's like, this is from the article, and I've had a bit of experience. You play cat and mouse. So it's like one person will like your photo and then you'll like theirs, and then there's a bit of,
and then
cheeky liking going on.
Yeah.
And then often that's when the stories, replying to the stories, or the direct messaging will come into play.
Stories.
So you slide in there.
I was hearing this story, sorry, this is a little bit off topic, but fucking funny, was this woman was talking about how she kept getting dick pics in DMs.
I've never had one of those, sadly.
Really? No.
I actually would be petrified if I ever opened a DP on a DM.
Yeah, so she kept getting dick pics, so she decided to send guys pictures of her vagina to see how they would react. Supposedly it's hers, I don't know. But yeah, they'd be like, what's up? And she'd be like, that's what's up. And send them a picture of her pussy to see, because women are always horrified, right?
Yes.
When you get a dick pic. I find the best solution to send more dick pics back. Like, like spam them with dick pics.
Like, but received this one the other day.
I know. Oh, you call that a dick? Now this is a dick.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I don't smoke. Yeah, and every guy responded like, oh yeah, I want to lick that. And they were all into it. Not one guy was like, ooh, that's disgusting. Please don't send me a picture of your vagina. Every guy was like, when can we meet? I'd love to take you out for a drink. Let's hook up.
Are you trying to say that because I would never in a million years do that.
I'm thinking, I can't even talk now. I'm thinking that might be your way.
You're like, here's the tip for you. I'm going to go with a no on
A
that
pussy
one.
pic. No. Unwarranted pussy pics. Are they?
I reckon your Instagram will get shut down.
I thought it was hilarious.
But
she did it as a
also,
social experiment.
The thing
though.
with Instagram is that most of the people you're sort of liking or, following back, they're kind of in your, not circle so much, friend group, but extended friends of friends of friends, Yeah. Like if you're going to be playing this cat and mouse, you want it to be with someone who's in Auckland or wherever you live, so that you're not just like, oh, you're in Santa Monica, here's a like.
It doesn't really work if they live on the other side of the world. But then that's how I came to be in New Zealand, is hooking up with a man.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not through Instagram because that didn't exist but met a guy in a bar. Was a complete and total bitch to him, and he kept like harassing me all night. I'm like, go away. And then at the end of the night, he was like, do you want to ride home? I'm like, no. Me and my friends are like, fuck off. And he's like, oh, well, we have a limo with champagne outside. And I was like, oh, well, why didn't you say so? So
now I will come for a ride.
Yeah, so I basically made him take me and my friends out like all week. Even my brother, who was like 13, I brought him along. And then he sent me a plane ticket. So I thought,
jumped on that plane.
Yeah, I thought, why not? Free trip. And came here and was like, wow, love it. And moved here a few months later.
You've never looked back.
I'm a mail order bride.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, with Bumble, the girl has to message the guy. So there's none of that, the guy coming over and wooing you.
That's
with
good.
Bumble, so you don't get all the weirdos on Tinder. So yeah, apparently you can only message the guy.
That's really good, because that's what I found really hard about dating apps.
I have never been on these websites, but I can't say that I've had any of my friends who have had much success rate from them.
I met my fiance on Tinder.
Did you?
Yeah, that's how we met. It's quite
that gives me hope.
Yeah. It's quite funny, is I was dating lots of guys and swore off Tinder because I thought, it's like, it's just hookup site, and guys just tend to be douchebags on it. And I made this list of like my perfect man and kind of like visualize that. And I remember watching some romantic movie, bawling my eyes out and being like, fuck you, universe. I'm a good person.
Give me someone.
I deserve to have love. And the next day I woke up and I kept getting, go on Tinder. And I'm like, I don't want to go on Tinder. And I was like arguing with myself all day. And I finally did. And I instantly matched with my now fiance and a whole bunch of other guys. But I never messaged any of them back. And he sent me a message saying, I'd love to take you out to dinner sometime. And maybe, and I was like, oh, you're new at this, sweetie, aren't you? You could tell he was so like, most guys were like, yo. You look hot. You want to fuck? Are you down to fuck? And you're just like, whatever. I think it doesn't matter how you do it. I think it's just, if you're meant to be, you'll kind of like connect whatever way. But I think you need to put as many feelers out there as possible.
Bumble, Tinder, seeking arrangements, Instagram,
Sugar baby. Yeah, that's what we should do. We need to get you on Sugar Babies.
I'm not that desperate. Absolutely not.
Come on, it'll be fun.
No. Can you please tell everyone how you used to make men take an attachment test before you would date them? That's outrageous.
That is really interesting, actually. I personally was a hot mess in my relationships and was very good at finding the most fucked up man possible and being wildly attracted to them. And so I went to therapy and it was all like, oh, you had a traumatic childhood and yada, 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 and your parents got divorced. But I still kept having like these really unhealthy patterns. And I came across, I think it was like in training for relationship therapy, what they call attachment types in relationships. And when I learned about that, it was like this light bulb of, oh, that's why I'm so fucked up. And it was because I would get really anxious in relationships and I would obsess about them and I'd be oversensitive and it was just ridiculous. I could Google stalk someone. Unbelievable. I mean, it was like I would know everything about them and they'd be like, oh my God, are you like psychic? And I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Like, no, I'm just a five-stage clinger and a stalker.
Yeah. Oh, So attachment types are how you attach or relate in a relationship.
Can just men take them, or can women as well?
No, anyone can.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Have I not? I'm sure I've talked to you about it. Haven't I?
haven't done one.
No.
Let's get it up.
So I'll put a link in on the kind of, what do you call it? The app thing or no, I can't even fucking talk. The
Facebook?
No.
Snap?
Whatever. Well, wherever I post this
iTunes?
thing. Yeah.
Website?
Something like that. Yeah. You'll be able to, when you click on this, you'll be able to find it maybe. So 50% of the population is what they call secure attachment type. And they find it easy to get in relationships. If there's conflict, they stay and they work it out, and they're able to kind of soothe their partner if their partner gets upset. And that's fucking great for them, right?
Yeah, I'd quite like someone like that. It
Yeah.
sounds nice, chilled, and easy.
Yeah, they're not people that run away. They're not people that act like psychos or stalk people. They're just healthy. Yeah. So then there's the other type. There's 4 types. The next type is what they call the anxious preoccupied type. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was. And that is basically you're not avoidant of relationships, but you get very anxious when you're in them. And you will Facebook and Instagram stalk them, and you'll wonder what everything means. And if they don't call you back or text you back right away, you get upset, and you're basically a little bit psycho and needy. And it comes down to a problem of not being able to self-soothe, of being able to calm yourself down yourself, and you're kind of looking for your partner to calm you down. And there's normally some kind of abandonment or trauma in your life, not necessarily in childhood, but maybe in your first relationships. So then there's what they call the dismissant avoidant, and they are the hot and colds, the commitment phobics.
I've had one of those.
Yeah, they'll come really close, they'll come on very strong, and then they'll break up with you. And they'll do it over and over again. And people that are more anxious, preoccupied types tend to be very attracted to the dismissive types. So you just get together and drive each other insane. Oh. And for them, when they get too close or they get upset, they need space. They need to pull away. Whereas the anxious, preoccupied types want to move forward and they want to resolve stuff. Yeah. So it's just this horrible kind of like push-pull dance that's awful. The next type is what they call the fearful avoidant, and they just avoid those people that just never get in relationships. They avoid them at all costs.
Just single all the time.
Single all the time. You try to hook them up, they're just like, nah, not interested. That's the fearful avoidant. So for me, once I figured out I was anxious, preoccupied type, I realized that I needed to be with someone who was a secure attachment type, because otherwise I was just going to keep getting triggered off with men being avoidant and running away and playing games. Because avoidant people tend to play games in relationships. And they don't necessarily mean to, but that's how they operate. So I decided that I would get every man I dated to take the test. And they were all, for the first 9 guys, they were all either avoidant or anxious like me. Or, anxious, preoccupied. So you were like,
nah, none of them. You weren't even going to let yourself get close to them.
Yeah, no. And it was before I'd even meet them. And I'm sure they thought I was a complete and total psychopath, really. But I was just like, well, we won't be good for each other. How did you get
them to take it? Like, if I was like, hey, before you take me out to dinner, just fill out this quiz for me, would you? They'd be like, you're a psycho. Absolutely not.
I would just say, well, I'm a therapist, right? So I'd be like,
you can get away with it.
I can get away with it, but better than other people.
If it was me, they'd be like, you're a radio producer. Yeah. What does this have to do with work? Oh, no, trust me, this is work.
What I would say is I'm just writing an article about this, and this is really interesting. I wouldn't say it from a point of I'm trying to figure out what you are. And not one person said no. They all took the test, and then they all said, you're fucking psycho afterwards once I told them.
What, so you get the results and be like,
I'm sorry. You're very avoidant in relationships, and I am preoccupied, and so therefore I will, probably drive you insane. And they were just like, are you fucking kidding? Yeah.
This is before the first date.
This is before the first
date. Oh, they're going to
date.
think in their head, I've dodged a bullet.
Yeah, probably. Probably. But what's quite funny is they all kept sending me messages. Yeah. So obviously,
you're like,
no. And I'd send them resources on how to become a more secure attachment type and give them a bit of advice. Yeah.
Here's a link. Read it.
Yeah. A couple of them I kind of became friends with and actually did meet them for a drink, but was like, no, we only can be friends. And would give them advice about why they're so fucked up as well. Sure, they loved that, free therapy. So yeah, I think it's really important to find out what your attachment type is. If if you're in a long-term relationship and you don't have issues and it's all fine, then don't worry about it. You're a secure type. But if you keep like attracting the same dynamic, or you keep getting anxious or jealous or having these horrible kind of issues in relationships, you're going to be one of the other types. So
I haven't had smooth sailing in the last couple of years.
no, well,
Not good.
I think you're a little bit anxious is my guess, but I think you can flip back and forth. And what I realized is I could flip back and forth. If someone was anxious, preoccupied with me, I was dismissive. I'd push them away.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, oh, yes, that's great. You're all needy. I'd be like, fuck off.
You're like, tone it, you stay.
Yeah, it was more if they tried to like come on too close to me, then I would push them away. And it was just, it was always wanting the opposite of what you had. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So I'll put the link in. And
I want to take it.
It's really interesting.
Well, should I do this? Should I start sending this out to people? Before we can meet for a drink.
I would just say, what
quiz.
You could say is, oh, my friend's like a psych major and she's had me do this test and it's really interesting. You should do it and send me a screenshot and I'll have my therapist review it before we can meet. No, maybe don't say that. But
I don't think they'd be asking me.
What I find interesting is no one said no.
Yeah, I find that the most interesting part.
Well, I am very convincing.
You are very convincing, so that's probably why.
Well, I kind of looked at it as, and I think when I said, no, I wouldn't admit that I was not a secure attachment type before I got to take the test.
What's the last type of people who are always single? Because sometimes I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like I know a few people who are just really independent and they'd never really like get that opportunity to have someone else or go on dates. And
it's
I don't
fearful avoidant.
Is it? It is.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I don't think if you avoid relationships, that doesn't necessarily mean you are fearful avoidant.
Yeah.
Some people you don't need a relationship to be happy.
No. And some people think that you do. So they're always hunting for that next person.
Yeah.
Whereas like to be on your own is actually a skill in itself as well.
I think so. And I think you need to learn how to live life without the opposite sex before you actually can live life with them. That's what I always learned. I had to learn to be happy within myself before I could actually be happy with a man.
Yeah. Self-love.
So, absolutely. I did say I was going to...
I've got the smirk on my face because I know what's coming.
Talk about my childhood or my teenage years and what a not good girl I was. So my mother, and not that I'm blaming this on my mother at all, my parents got divorced when I was quite young, and my mother is an incredibly accepting person, right? She will hang out with pretty much, well, at least then. I wouldn't say she's the same way now. But she would hang out with anybody and completely accepting of everyone. So she'd hang out with drag queens, I thought it was normal to be gay until I was about 12 years old. Yeah. I didn't actually realize that wasn't considered normal and acceptable in society because it was always normal in my house. Mm-hmm. Not that it was the norm, but it was like some people are gay and some people are straight and some people are bisexual and some men like to dress up in dresses. And that was just the norm. Or, it was just something I saw all the time and there was no judgment on it. So I didn't learn to have judgment. Mm-hmm. So, but she also would hang out with, I don't know, Mexican drug pens.
As you do.
Pablo Escobar, some of his henchmen. Well, they made parties funner, didn't they? So, yeah. So she was pretty freewheeling, shall we say, and having fun. And she was only like in her early 30s, right? She had me quite young. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so, but I also was a little shit. I was such a delinquent, and by the time I was 15, I could hotwire a car in under 90 seconds, and I could.
Oh my gosh!
Have I not mentioned that one?
Gran Turismo over here.
Oh, I was taught to drive by the time I was 13. So I told all of my friends' parents that I was like a year and a half older, that I had just been held back. They all thought I was like really thick or something.
So then you were driving around.
So I was driving around when I was like 14 and a half.
Hot wiring these random cars.
Yeah. No, I would just take my mother's car. I told my mother that I could drive if I got a learner's permit as long as somebody was in the car. And you could get a learner's permit.
Full bullshitting everyone.
Yeah, I was like a compulsive liar. I was so bad. I would just, and it's funny, I'd get pulled over, I'd get busted for stuff, and I always talk my way out of it. I have never been arrested. I have always just been like driven home in the police car of like, oh, she's a nice girl. We're going to arrest everyone else though. Yeah. And I'd be like, and they'd be like, she was the fucking mastermind. And I'd be like, I think being like, a small perky blonde, and I was always nice to cops.
Yeah.
But when I was, 15, 16, I started getting a little bit out of control. And I was cutting class constantly. And my mother just kind of got at her wit's end. And the school got at the wit's end. And so they kicked me out of school. I was expelled from school. And I was sent to a school for juvenile delinquents.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And so I'm
imagining, like, you rocking up to the school in, like, Compton with all these cars with hydraulics outside. Like, yo, yo.
Yeah, what was the name of the school? It was called Madrone. It was still in Marin, which is just on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge. But it was the school for the delinquents. It wasn't like juvenile hall, right? It wasn't like, criminals, but it was like
little bit.
The next step was jail.
So you were close.
It was close. It was like a school that was already on a rough high school. So it was like, we were the really bad, the bad of the bad. Yeah, all the bad kids from all the schools got sent to this school within, like, I don't know.
It just sounds like a disaster.
Oh, well, it is. Yeah. So I rock up in my little mini skirt and I'm like, hey, and I'm driving my mother's red convertible and she couldn't drive because she had 2 DUIs at that point. So sorry, Mom, but it's the truth. And so it's funny though, I got along with everyone because I think I was just not judgmental and I was fun and I could get people cocaine from my mother's friends. So I got
like, we like Caroline.
Yeah. And it's funny, it's like, I don't like cocaine. I've tried it. It does nothing for me. Like nothing. It's totally wasted. So for me, it didn't, I was just like, whatever. But because it's when it's very high up in the chain, it's quite pure. And what was interesting was like some of those people at that school knew different rappers. So then I was hanging out with all these different rappers and getting them.
Like who?
I don't want to say.
Okay. But famous rappers.
You probably couldn't get any more famous than this.
Okay, wow.
But I'm not going to say. But let's just say they lived in Marin at the same time as me. So you can do your own research.
Okay. I'm going to be Googling after.
And figure that out. But yeah, because I don't think they would say they did drugs either at that time. I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. But yeah, I was a bad girl. But what was interesting was going to that school and seeing all these kids that were, you knew half of them were going to end up to jail. The other half were probably going to be hooking or stripping and I thought, okay, I can keep going down this path. Or I can go another way. And I better pull my head out of my goddamn ass because no one's coming to save me. I've got to save myself.
Yeah.
And so
it's almost like eye-opening for you.
Oh, it was actually the best thing that could have happened to me, to be honest, because I went off the rails a little bit worse when I initially got there because it was like, woohoo. And when you hang out with a bunch of criminals, what do? You become more of a criminal.
Yeah, you become
but I would say
hot wiring in 30 seconds.
I already knew how to do that. I didn't learn that. I taught people that there. That's probably not a good thing. So yeah, I had to make up over a year's worth of school because I was so truant from school. They basically said that year is wiped. And so I did like 2 years of school in one. And I just worked my ass off. And they were quite surprised that I would study myself and be motivated. And so they just let me go. And that was great because I had oppositional behavior disorder is what I was diagnosed with. So whatever they would tell me to do, I would want to do the opposite. So if they just let me do my own thing or say, that's what you need to do to achieve that goal, however you get there, do it, then I would.
Yeah, but if they said, do this, do that, then you'd be like,
no, I'm not going to. I'll find some way to be disruptive But it was actually really fun. And it changed my life. And it made me realize that no one was responsible for my life but me. And if I wanted to be naughty and get in trouble, that's great. But there's going to be some massive consequences to that. And I didn't want to end up in jail or be a loser. I wanted to be successful. So, but I find a lot of really successful people have similar stories where
their past or their upbringing hasn't been all sparkles and glitter. There's been a lot of shit that's gone down.
And I think that's what's made me become a therapist and be really good at that as well.
Because you've been through stuff that other people have been through, so you can relate, and it's not just like you've had this squeaky clean life.
Yeah.
And
that's terrible. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like I've been through everything.
Yeah, so you can be like, I know.
And you can survive, and you can be stronger than you were before. I think that stuff doesn't mean you're a victim. It means you're a survivor. And it's how you choose to view it and how you use it to drive the rest of your life. So being a juvenile delinquent, I don't know if I recommend it, but yeah, and I would kick my kids' asses before they got down that track. Oh, hell no. But it's the path I took. So yeah, but it makes for some good stories.
Bloody good stories.
Say no to drugs, kids.
This is a Netflix recommendation from me. So I've just started the series Safe. Mm-hmm. So the lead actor is the guy who plays Dexter.
Oh, yeah, I like him.
Yeah, so it's really odd because he's got a British accent in this. Yeah. And obviously he's American in Dexter. So you kind of have to get used to it. You're like, this is
he
odd.
actually British in real life?
I don't know. But it's like, I guess it's like one of those things when you see a comedian then act in a serious movie, you're like, no, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like that reminds me of Jack Black in School of Rock and then Jack Black in King Kong. I'm like, no, you are not a serious hunter. You are a fat teacher who was funny.
You can't take him serious in anything.
No. So, but like you get used to it. But anyway, basically it's about this, not like a cult, but like a gated community. So, like very wealthy, like perfect kind of families live in this gated community. And his teenage daughter goes missing, and he's a widowed surgeon in this neighborhood, and he starts like uncovering all these dark secrets about people closest to him. So I've only seen 3 episodes, and there's about 8 in season 1, but it's already got for me a 98% match. It's like R16, so it gets a bit kind of like gruesome, but all the reviews are saying like latest binge watch, like you've got to watch it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, you're enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a Netflix recommendation that I'm glad I did my Kegels, because otherwise I would have pissed my pants after watching this movie or this show. And it's Ali Wong's Hard Knock Wife, I think it's called.
Is it a documentary?
It's a stand-up comedy. It's Hard Knock Wife. So she did another one. I'd watch both. She is the funniest fucking bitch I have ever seen.
What's her name? Do I know her face?
Wong. You'll know her face. You have to watch it. So Hard Knock Wife. So the first one she does both of them when she's like 7 months pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
And the first one she kind of talks about, you'll relate to, because it's more like, I'm in my 20s and my pussy and this and that. And not that you talk about your pussy, but it's, yeah. And she says shit that you're just like, oh my God. And all she does in that one is talk about how she wants to be a housewife, and so she can blow her ass without anyone listening. Like she talks about like taking a shit at work is terrible because like there's other people around. And she's like, I just want to sit on the toilet and watch Netflix and blow ass. So this one, now she's had her baby and she's pregnant with her second baby, and she talks about motherhood, and oh my God, my cheeks on my face hurt for like 2 days from laughing so hard.
Really?
I'm not even kidding you. And what's funny is my partner watched it when I was out and said, oh my God, you have to watch this. I'll watch it again with you. Which, what man wants to watch a female stand-up comedian talking about pregnancy and birth and babies twice in one day? And he was like, totally keen, and we are dying laughing.
Really?
It is that funny. I would watch it again.
It as well.
Oh, it is the funniest shit you've ever seen. If I were you, I'd probably start with her first.
Yeah. How long are they?
Probably like an hour.
Yeah.
She is so funny. She is going to be the next big thing. I adore her. And what I love about her, she's just completely authentic.
Yeah.
And she doesn't give a shit, right? She'll do these faces where she's a really pretty girl or woman, but she'll pull these faces that she doesn't give a shit if she looks ugly, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to be in character.
Just
and
fully herself, not caring.
Fully herself, and you just die laughing. You have to watch it. Everyone has to watch it. Oh my God, yeah.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. She's amazing. And amazing. Got to watch it.
We're finished.
I'm done.
I feel like that spray is worn off and now I'm tired.
Are you sleepy?
I'm sleepy.
So next week, we're going to see if Louise has flashed her pussy to people on Instagram.
I absolutely have not.
That's a dating technique? No? Oh, no, Louisa.
We'll not be doing that in any DMs.
What about in the name of science and social experiment?
Absolutely not.
You can flash other people's pussy?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, it's just an idea. But anyways, I thought we could talk about how to get over a broken heart.
Yep. Everyone's been there.
Oh, and yeah, I have a good having been dumped story, which regarding myself.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, this was like the worst being dumped you could imagine. I'm sure there's worse ones out there, but this one's
I got
pretty
dumped
bad.
twice in 2 weeks.
I got dumped as I was getting ready for my birthday.
Oh,
So
that's
I'll tell you-
just rude.
Oh, I know all these people waiting for me, and
You're like, can you just wait till after the birthday?
Can you just say you're sick or you had hemorrhoids or something? Like, why the fuck? Yeah. Anyways, why couldn't you just lie and be a nice guy? So
shouldn't laugh. I feel sorry for you, but like kind of funny.
Well, it all worked out though. He did me a huge favor because now I'm with someone amazing. So it all works out in the end, and that's what I'll tell this
The law
story
of
later.
attraction.
It's not meant to be. It'll be taken away by the universe.
Exactly.
Or you just get dumped. So we'll give some tips on breakups and getting over a broken heart and not being a sad fucking sack for too long.
Everyone needs that.
Yeah.
Everyone's been there.
Yeah.
So yeah, subscribe, download. You want to hear us?
Give us an amazing rating if you like us. And if you don't like us, well, fuck off. That's what I have to say. Yeah, well, not everyone's going to like you. If you don't like us, then that's fine. That's your absolute right. But keep it to yourself. That's my advice. Be nice, because I don't go and haunt your ass on your social media. Bye.